So, the NHL's yearly media availability has concluded, and this handsome young lad right here is the subject of today's video. He is, of course, Vancouver Canucks captain Quinn Hughes, who had a number of interviews and comments and various things that were published by different NHL insiders and writers in regards to his opinions about stuff. Of course, we recognize that Quinn is in a prominent spot as the captain of the Vancouver Canucks. He was a very good player for Vancouver, the best one on the team last season, and he's coming off of a year where everything kind of went wrong. Not for Quinn himself, he had 76 points in 68 games, that's not bad, but the fact is he missed out on more games than he probably would have preferred. He got hurt, and the Vancouver Canucks team that he captained was a lot worse too. Which is why we're diving into some commentary from Quinn about the way things went, about the Canucks' future, and about how he wishes to play with his brothers. Now, we did speak about the brothers comment yesterday in a video. It was our 6th video of the day. We also spoke about Kirill Kaprizov and his contract situation in Minnesota. But if you had seen that previous video, you saw Quinn Hughes and his response to Jack Hughes' comments, which we also spoke about the other day too, in regards to Jack saying that he would love to play with Quinn Hughes, which, you know, makes sense when you think about it. They're brothers, they love each other, they have grown up playing hockey together, so why not want to do that at the NHL level? Who knows if one day we will inevitably see a 3-on-3 overtime shift which includes Quinn, Jack, and Luke. If that were to be the case, I think the hockey world would just implode. But let's dive into this article published by Luke Fox after the NHL's media availability about these Quinn Hughes comments, because they talk about various things, and I thought it was pretty insightful to dive into. Article will be linked in the description. Let's get into it here. The article opens up by talking about Quinn's comments upon arriving in Las Vegas on Tuesday about a family reunion. I don't even think it's a big deal, Quinn told Elliot Friedman and Kabukaskis during their 32 Thoughts podcast recording. What's he supposed to say? That he doesn't want to play with me? Like, he's not going to say that, but I would love to play with both of my brothers. It would be very cool. Cool, we're guessing, is not how Canucks fans will feel about all this open chatter about their favorite team's best players' desire to skate alongside 2 members of the Devils, one of whom, Jack, is locked up till 2030, and one of whom, the younger brother Luke, is grinding away at an extension. Anyways, the article says here that even though the Hughes bros would love to go full Stastny brothers on the NHL at some point, Quinn says, I'm really looking forward to this year in Vancouver, just because I feel like it's a challenge to see if we can have a successful year and make this a successful organization, which I think we can do, and I'm looking forward to that challenge. When asked directly, the question weighing on Canucks fans' minds, do we have a chance to keep this guy? Quinn said some nice words, but none of them were yes. I mean, I've really enjoyed Vancouver. I'm very thankful. When I came to Vancouver, I don't think I even thought I was going to become what I've become. That's happened because of the people in Vancouver. Management, coaching. I've had great relationships with Bruce Boudreau and Rick Tocchet. Management's been kind of giving me the keys to the kingdom a couple of years ago. I'm very grateful. As far as this year, I just feel like last year was a failure, and I want to propel my game even further and propel my teammates even further. See what we can do. And that, my friends, is pretty good stuff. I don't think I ever thought that Quinn Hughes would ever be as good as he's become, but he has achieved that. He is in that stratosphere. He is 1 or 2 in the NHL, depending on who you ask. And even though he has had some very good things to say, the question of do we have a chance to keep this guy hasn't really directly been answered. But of course, that doesn't really matter. There's no way that Quinn can sign that extension earlier than July 2026, so it might not even be worth thinking about, to be honest, but that's not going to stop people from bringing it up. Anyways, speaking about the other top defenseman in the NHL, this is whom Quinn Hughes measures himself against. 2025 Norris champion Cale Makar. It's really fun watching Cale play because I think he's unbelievable, and I always want to test myself and push myself, so I always love competing against him. said Hughes, whose own Norris campaign was derailed by an oblique injury. I feel proud of myself with all the challenges. The way I was able to play through that, I feel proud of myself. As far as summer, just kinda needed a reset to refuel for sure. I just didn't grind my body as much, he explained. Now, the article dives into a few other things. Quinn Hughes' frustration on not being able to play for the Four Nations. He gives a little bit of context as to what happened. He doesn't think the Canucks wanted him to play just because they wanted him to be fresh, and they knew that he wasn't 100%, so we can't really blame Vancouver for that. But the Canucks did give him the opportunity to play, and Jimmy and Patrick were very respectful. He then talks about Brock Boeser and says that Hughes was surprised that Brock Boeser ended up signing with the Canucks at the final hour. He wanted to stay the whole time. Credit to him, Hughes said. He loves Vancouver. His girlfriend's from Vancouver. He's got 2 dogs. He takes them hiking all the time. He just loves the lifestyle and he loves the fan base. He loves everything about it. He wants to be a leader on the team for years to come. I think that we both thought he was gone. So, there you go, Captain Quinn speaking out. He thought that Brock was toast. He thought Brock would be taking his talents over to, I don't know, Minnesota or something. But now, Brock is back, and despite it being quite the surprise, it's a very welcome one indeed. Now, let's dive into these comments over here, because Quinn had some really interesting things to talk about in regards to Elias Pettersson that were also highlighted in this piece. Hughes empathizes for the tumultuous season endured by star center Elias Pettersson, who has returned to Vancouver heavier and stronger and with plenty to prove. I don't care if he came 5 pounds later or 5 pounds heavier, Hughes said. Elias Pettersson is a gifted player and we are very similar guys. I think he grew up and was really undersized and had to rely on his brain, and I think he sees the game in a special way. I'm not going to lie to you, all the nonsense last year weighed on him heavily from a personal standpoint and a professional standpoint. No one wants to deal with that. Given that, you have to find a way to perform through that as well, but he's a really competitive person. I expect Pettersson to have a great year. Of course, Hughes is referring to the JT Miller feud and how things really took a turn for the worst in terms of Vancouver's locker room, the on-ice dynamics, and the on-ice execution. Elias Pettersson had a bad year, and Quinn's not going to go out there and say that Petey was a lot better than he should have been. But Quinn is very realistic here in saying that, yeah, Pettersson grew up playing hockey in a very particular way. This is why he is super good at looking at things and making those reads. It's why he's developed the hockey sense that he has. So even if he is heavier, this is still a talented guy. And the fact that Quinn can go to bat for Petey, a guy who happens to be one of his best friends on the team, they are similar guys after all. They were airplane buddies a few years ago when they were rookies. Who knows what they are like now? Obviously, Quinn's going to have Petey's back, and that makes a lot of us feel pretty warm inside, I'd say. Especially if you're worried about how well the Vancouver Canucks are going to perform in 2025-2026. So with all that in mind, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about Quinn Hughes' comments on, firstly, joining Jack Hughes in New Jersey? We don't have to beat that drum as hard as we did the past few days. What are your thoughts on Quinn's commentary on Cale Makar? And what are your expectations on Elias Pettersson? Quinn's expecting a really strong year out of EP40. What are you expecting? Let me know in the comments all your opinions. I hope you enjoyed this video. The article will be linked in the description as well. And bye.